we are the Institute for Gender and the Economy, so I always like to pick up at least one kind of gender angle and thinking about issues of inequality. And you have a whole chapter on the exploitation of lands and bodies in Canada, and talking about how that's a gendered project that leaves Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit persons vulnerable to violence. Can you explain a little bit more about the link between resource extraction and the exploitation of Indigenous women? Why you make that connection so tightly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, one of my teachers again was Elmer Ghostkeeper, and he read every draft of my book, so that was really nice of him. Him and my mom both did. But one of the things he talks about in this book was how he was a leader in his community in Northern Alberta, and how he grew up with this relationship, what he calls living with the land. And so these relationships of what he calls spirit gifting, and having this important understanding those different relationships with animals, with the land. And then he talks about, as a leader, as a counselor, he brought some kind of an oil and gas contract to his community, and how that created a shift for him to living with the land to living off the land. And he talked about that shift, and so that was really important to me. But he also makes this link in the book of the exploitation of Mother Earth, and the exploitation of, well, he evokes really powerful language, and sorry if this is triggering to some people, but he evokes the word of raping Mother Earth in some of this. And so for me, that was really powerful to think of some of the impacts of right now, and missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit peoples, and how they're especially in places where I live, where resource extraction is so prevalent. It creates these imbalances of relationships, and also it creates structures where exploitation happens, and oftentimes Indigenous women are negatively implicated with places where there's man camps or different things where resource extraction happens. And so, yeah, it was an important link to make. And others talk about it, like Nishan, which is an important nonprofit Indigenous youth organization.